Today, the pressures of modern living have made the job of managing the finances of a well-educated man or woman very challenging indeed. The national values of thrift, hard work, and saving are being slowly but gradually replaced by attitudes of entitlement, instant gratification, and reliance on credit. Combined with an aggressive consumer culture constantly pushing us to have the latest gadgets and fashions, higher taxes, the rising cost of living, wage stagnation, and increasing job insecurity create a perfect financial storm, and the stage is set for us to live from paycheck to paycheck, unable to get ahead, constantly worrying about money, and unsure if we will ever be able to attain the financial security of our parents' generation. The bottom line is that attaining financial freedom is becoming an elusive goal for many. At the same time, personal finance is an area where there is a woeful lack of education for many individuals, though the decisions made in this area have a greater impact on well-being than any other. Who has ever taken a class in high school or college on personal finance or investing? Most adults freely admit they are unsure if they are making the right financial decisions, and many describe their finances as a source of anxiety. On top of that, the financial services industry has a long history of placing its own interests before those of its clients, often leading consumers down a path of high cost and low investment return. It is no wonder that many individuals throw in the towel and brush finances aside, hoping for the best. The way of achieving financial freedom and the way of living the same kind of life with the available income remains to be a dream of many people. Consider the case where an individual's income in a year is, say, $50,000. Then, assuming he has to pay his debts and other expenses, his disposable income will be $30,000. Now, this individual has to find a way where he will have an equal lifestyle or, say, a better lifestyle with the same disposable income in the same year. This can be very much possible if he has the right amount of assets and a proper plan to expense the same amount. This way of planned expenses and proper allocation of assets gives a solution to what people are looking for as financial freedom. Also, methods and strategies could have given the details of achieving it. But in the particular video, the depth of what financial freedom actually is, how it is achieved, and people's attempts in achieving that dream has been put forward. The simple logic being, to attain financial freedom, the total amount of income or money from an individual's disposal should be greater than all his expenses, and he should be able to sustain and continue the same amount of lifestyle and get out of financial conditions, such as debts, that he does not want to have. Another part of financial literacy is understanding the credit system and credit cards. Credit is a powerful and persuasive tool. It can bring many conveniences and, at the same time, ruin a person financially. It is crucial today to know how credit works and to have a good credit record. Understanding the wise use of credit, how to avoid pitfalls and scams, and what to do if credit problems occur can be the difference between financial success and failure. Knowing how to use credit and credit cards is very important because it can affect a person's quality of life. Credit card debt is extremely high in today's society, and it is important to know how to use credit cards and when to use them. Also, knowing how to compare different credit offers and recognizing what credit card scams are important in making sure you have no problems with credit card debt. In order to make informed financial decisions and have a sense of financial security, an understanding of finance is critical. According to the National Financial Educators Council, financial literacy is defined as possessing the skills and knowledge on financial matters to confidently take effective action that best fulfills the financial goals of an individual, family, or the community. Having an understanding of basic financial concepts will allow the consumer to know what to do with their money and how to obtain it. Coming up with a plan for spending and saving is an important step for consumers to take. Knowing how to manage their day-to-day living expenses while setting aside money to save and invest is crucial. Responsible spending starts with setting financial goals and developing plans to reach those goals. The type of goal will determine the plan, and the plan will determine the result. Without a well-thought-out plan and goal setting, one can find themselves spending money on what is not important to them. Another basic financial concept is liquidity. This is a measure of how quickly an asset can be converted into cash with little or no loss in value. This is a useful concept when considering the safety of an investment. If an investment is highly liquid, then that means there is little risk to holding that asset because if there is a financial emergency that requires cash, the asset can be easily sold with little loss in value. If an investment is not liquid, then that means selling the asset may not raise the required cash, or selling the asset will incur a loss in value. A house is an example of an asset that is not highly liquid, whereas shares in a company can be considered highly liquid. High liquidity often means lower returns on an investment. This is because the investment can be easily sold. Therefore, the investment must have a lower risk to be more attractive than other higher returning investments. High liquidity and lower return can be an attractive option to an investor looking for a safe place to hold money. The foundation of understanding money and finances is to understand a few fundamental financial concepts. One of the first financial concepts is the present value. This means that a sum of money in hand today is worth more than the same sum at some time in the future. This is due to its potential earning capacity. Money that is to be received or paid at some time in the future does not have the same value as money received or paid today. Consider a simple example. Would you rather have $75 now or $100 in 2 years' time? To determine this, you would calculate the present value of the $100 in 2 years' time. If you put the $100 in the bank will pay you an interest rate for holding money, so the $100 in 2 years' time would be worth $100, plus the interest you would earn in 2 years. As the interest rate is unknown, the most prudent decision is to compare the $100 in 2 years with an investment that carries no risks. Investing is a broad and comprehensive term. In this essay, the term investing will refer to the buying or creation of assets that produce income, preserve capital, or appreciate in value to offset inflation. This is opposed to investing money in the hope of a capital gain to purchase consumer goods. High-income people often fall into the trap of higher income leading to higher spending and lower economic contribution due to the opportunity cost of the time needed to make the higher income. A classic example of this is the physician who works long hours, is in the top tax bracket, and spends a lot of his income on luxury items. The tax on his income is high, and the luxury goods have a high depreciation. These people often have little wealth to their name but a high income on paper. Saving and investing is simply consuming less than you produce and investing the difference. The poor and middle class in America consume everything they produce, and usually more, using credit. The opposite of that, the wealthy and financially independent live well below their means. This is typified by the book The Millionaire Next Door, which documents how most millionaires in America live in the same middle-class neighborhoods, drive similar cars, and work similar jobs, but accumulate great wealth through savvy financial habits. By living well below their means, savers can increase their net worth without increasing their income. A high income provides no immunity against a low net worth. This is evidenced by the fact that nearly 80% of people who receive a windfall of cash, such as an inheritance or a large bonus, have little to show for it 2 to 3 years later. A simple way to institute saving and investing is to have a portion of a paycheck automatically deposited into a savings account or a 401k. Most Americans now have a savings rate of 0%, and are, in fact, dissaving by spending future earnings today. This has led to an era of unprecedented and unsustainable consumer debt, Financial goals should be specific and broken down into short-term, less than 1 year, intermediate, 1 to 5 years, and long-term, 5 years plus, goals. An example of a specific financial goal would be, I want to have $1 million saved for retirement 30 years from now. A general goal would be, I want to be rich, but after using the specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-related SMART goals method, those words would be turned into, I want to have a net worth of $10 million 5 years from now. Goals should be written and then shared with a close friend or family member who is financially successful. Periodic reviews should be made of the goals and adjustments made if 5 to 10% of the total goal is accomplished. Setting financial goals is crucial to building wealth. A very small percentage of Americans have written financial goals, and an even smaller percentage review those goals on a consistent basis. The wealthy and financially independent share the habit of setting clear, definitive financial goals and reviewing those goals with a specific end date. One thing to keep in mind is that a person's goals and their plans to achieve them will change over time. This will most definitely happen if a person is young, but it happens to older folks as well. This is why it is good to repeat this step every once in a while to make sure you are on the right track. The purpose of setting a goal is to improve one's financial position. Most people will improve their financial position over time, whether they realize it or not, so they will need to set new goals to match their new and improved standard of living. The best part about planning for a goal is that it gives you motivation. There are people right now that get up every day to go to a job that they hate, but they can't quit because they feel they are stuck. With a clearly defined goal and a realistic plan, one can figure out how to get out of a situation like this, and it gives them motivation to go. Without a goal, people are stuck in a routine, and sometimes they get so deep into it, they don't even realize where their money is going. Setting financial goals. This is where you need to figure out what you want and how you are going to get it. When we talk about it in the perspective of a goal like retirement, many will fail to plan for it simply because it is too far away. This is where a person must realize that a goal is just a dream until you write it down. It might take you a week or two to really sit down by yourself or with your significant other and come up with what you want. The amount of time put into this step should be relative to the time span that the goal sets. Long-term goals take longer to analyze because the room for error is slim to none. Most often, a deposit account is the way to go. Essentially, a deposit account is a commitment to not access saved money for a period of time in exchange for higher interest. It can be tricky to decide on what length of time the money should be committed, as longer terms generally offer higher rates, albeit with more risk due to potential changes in the interest rate or the stability of the financial institution. There isn't always a huge difference between current and expected future interest rates, so it's sometimes advantageous to hold off an investment for higher rates without a deposit account in what's called a liquidity preference. A special type of deposit account called a certificate of deposit, where money is committed at a fixed interest rate for a specific term, bypasses the risk of changes in interest rates. This could be considered the best idea if one is certain that they will not have an urgent need for the money during the term, as the only trade-off for higher interest is in increased liquidity risk. Personal finance is more than how to best invest your money. Too often, it's taught the same way, as if the only thing that matters is cost minimization. If you try to minimize cost, you're asking the wrong question. What you should be asking is how to maximize the value of your dollar. What you should be trying to do is allocate your resources to their best uses. Investment fits into this, but it's only a small part. Your primary concern is to avoid squandering money you're allocating to expenses. This should be obvious, but is often a hidden theme in many investment strategies. And the truly key part of personal investment is in saving, not in investment vehicles. The single most important factor in your financial well-being is how much you save, so increasing the gap between your income and your expenses is instrumental to effective investment. The most pondered upon financial question is in deciding whether to save money or spend it now, which will loop us to a future video on budgeting. So, how does one maximize the value of the resources that they're allocating to saving? So the solution is obvious. You need to have multiple streams of income, earning different amounts depending on how lucrative and how time-consuming the means are. This is the key to becoming financially secure and achieving financial freedom. Now, it is easier said than done, and it is not for everyone. But anyone who seriously wants to achieve financial freedom should be able to find a means of a second stream of income. Creating multiple streams of income. You must realize that every single penny or cent you earn is important to your achieving financial freedom. Simply put, a person who is making $50,000 annually with a sole job is making less than a person who makes $50,000 a year at the same job, but has two jobs. Of course, I am ignoring the fact that the man works twice as many hours. That is not the point. The point is that you must treat your financial life with the same importance. Who makes more than the other? The man working one job has only one stream of income. If he loses his job, he has no means of income. He is putting all his eggs in one basket, so to speak. Now the man with two jobs has a job for a stream of income. If he loses one job, he still has a means of income. He is much less vulnerable to financial disaster than the man with one job. Now, the man making money from a job and a side business is even better off. If he happens to lose the job, he still has a means of income. He has more financial security than the man with two jobs and the same income. To eliminate and avoid debts in the future, you must understand and be willing to act upon the various money-saving tips and advice. Then you need to plan a strategy to pay off the debts, whether it is a loan or from credit cards. Organize them from smaller to larger and start paying from the smallest. By doing this, you will feel a sense of achievement right after you settle each of the debts. After settling the small debt, automatically you will have more money to pay for the next bigger debt, and so on. By being disciplined and determined, you will be able to settle them all. During this period that may take quite some time, you should be avoiding any further loans that do not benefit you in the long run. And lastly, if you think you are still unable to handle it yourself, do consider getting a debt management program to get advice from the expert. It's better to spend some in return for quality suggestions. When you are free from debt, you will be able to manage your finances at a much higher level. This is one of the most important things in the process of financial freedom. Go step by step until you really understand it and implement it into your life. Debt is the money that you borrow to enable you to buy things you can't afford. Often, debt is accumulated due to several unnecessary expenditures on products such as credit card usage rather than house, education, or investment. If you are the type of person who doesn't have good financial management skills, you will likely live off credit without much understanding of the consequences. And as a result, you will realize too late that you had spent too much that goes beyond your capability. So, in the end, you will find yourself needing to urgently find a way out of your bad financial condition. A Mike is a person whose total spending is less than the funds that are liquidated through borrowing. A Mike is always living within his means and is building investment assets. A person who spends money that is borrowed is defeating the purpose of the loan. It is a common habit to spend more money when there is a low-interest loan available. During the time of the loan, the person actually has negative investments because the cash he will use to pay off the loan in the future is counted as an asset. This person is essentially consuming his investment and has nothing to show for it. Debt spending has effectively destroyed the financial future for many people because they consumed all of their investments and then some. Debt management and elimination are very strong steps toward building a strong financial foundation. These steps should be taken with fervor, as the interest accumulated from most loans will surpass the interest your money would earn in conservative investments. In other words, every dollar put towards paying off a loan is, in essence, earning an interest rate equal to the loan's interest rate. For example, if you pay off a 6% interest rate student loan, you are, in essence, making an investment that earns a guaranteed 6% return. This being the case, it may be in your best interest to use money that has a lower opportunity cost to pay off the loans with the highest interest rates. Keep in mind, debt management is not just moving money around. Consolidating credit card debt to a lower interest rate credit card may be a good move. But the ultimate goal is to pay off the credit card debt in full. Last but not least, a strong financial foundation involves education. Education is the key to making sound financial decisions. Seek information from a variety of sources and always be open to new ideas. Developing and maintaining a relationship with a trusted financial advisor is an excellent way to get the right advice. Remember, the decisions you make today will affect your future, and prevention is always better than cure. Building a strong financial foundation is to have a will. Many people think a will is something you worry about when you're old. However, unexpected and tragic events can occur, and having a will is crucial. It ensures that your assets are distributed as you would like and provides for family and dependents. Failure to have a will can result in a long and costly process for Lavedwanis, trying to sort out your affairs. A will also provides specific instructions for guardianship of children and funeral arrangements. Other forms of insurance include health, house and contents, and vehicle insurance. These types protect your assets from high replacement costs. While all these forms of insurance involve a cost, they offer a safety net for you and your family and will prevent unneeded financial stress in difficult times. Consider what would happen if you fell ill and couldn't work. Would you be able to survive without an income? Income protection insurance could help you maintain an income during illness. Also, consider what would happen to your family if you were to die. Would they be able to cover outstanding debts and maintain their lifestyle? These are tough questions to ask, but adequate life insurance can relieve financial stress in times of hardship. In conclusion, many people can tell you what they want their future to look like, but few can tell you how they're planning on financing it. The fact of the matter is, if you don't have a plan for making your dreams a reality, they will in fact remain just that, dreams. A great man once said, "A goal is a dream with a deadline," and this could not be more true when it comes to developing a long-term wealth plan. This path demands discipline, prioritization, and a keen eye for discerning between wants and needs. By paying ourselves first and diligently budgeting, we fortify our ability to invest in income-generating assets while sidestepping the allure of unnecessary liabilities. Luxury may beckon, but its true worth lies in the ability to afford it through passive income, not at the expense of our financial well-being. So let us embark on this journey with purpose and conviction, armed with the wisdom to discern between assets and liabilities, knowing that each decision made today shapes the landscape of our tomorrows. May we walk this path with courage, guided by the vision of a future where our wealth grows not to imprison us but to set us free.